Majority of 6,800. It's just after 12:30. That's the state of the parties behind me. 370 Conservative, 205 Labour, 21 Alliance, 4 other. And I think, having had a lot of election news, perhaps it's time that we caught up with the rest of the news. So let's go to the newsroom and join Sandy Marshall.
Good afternoon. Mrs. Thatcher is having a working lunch at number 10 this morning after her election triumph. Her first priority, to reshuffle her cabinet. She says it will continue to reflect a range of political views. I haven't been extreme for the last 4 years, and I'm not extreme now, she says. Mrs. Thatcher, victorious from her Finchley constituency, returned to Downing Street at first light. A little over an hour ago, after some sleep, she left again for Conservative Party headquarters.
And now into the car, accompanied by her husband, Dennis. Some cheers from onlookers behind us. Mrs. Parkinson.
She arrived there to pay the traditional vote of thanks to her party workers and watch the rest of the results come in.
Thatcher is here, close by me, just outside Mr. Parkinson, as they're going in. Good morning, Mr. Thatcher.
The Prime Minister intends to make up her mind about her new cabinet as soon as possible. She told Sir Robin Day she feels it's time for a new look.
What you have to do is that you've had a number of people in the House for quite a time. You've had a number of people in junior posts. You know, people who are climbing the ladder want to be able to climb up another rung. The terrifying thing and frightening thing for me, it's the worst job I ever have to do here, is that means having to, if some people are to come on the ladder, some people have to climb off. And it's not because they've done the job badly at all. It is because you have to keep movement in politics in order to keep people with something to go for.
I think it was Asquith who said, perhaps in this very building, that a Prime Minister must be a good butcher. Are you a good butcher, Mrs. Thatcher?
No, I'm not a good butcher, but I've had to learn to carve the joint.
Michael Foot described the result as a tragedy for our country, and he strongly attacked the SDP for helping to give more seats to the Conservatives. But the Labour leader said he wouldn't disguise the scale of the defeat, nor his own part in Labour's poor showing.
Well, of course I've got to accept my responsibilities in the matter, and we will discuss the whole of the election, and I agree with those who said that the fight to win the next election starts immediately, and I will participate in those discussions, and of course I accept to the full my responsibilities in this election.
Mr. Foot later returned to his London home. He emerged briefly to advise reporters not to hang around. He wouldn't be drawn on the subject of the party leadership. Earlier, he'd said he wouldn't make any prophecies. Mr. Foot is expected to go to Labour's headquarters in South London this afternoon.
We wondered whether you were staying on as leader.
Most of those considered front-runners if Mr. Foot does step down were saying very little on the subject. Deputy Leader Dennis Healey said Mr. Foot had made it clear he wasn't going and no one was going to push him. And the man already made favourite by the bookmakers Roy Hattersley said it was a time of coming together for Labour and he would still be proud to serve under Mr. Foot. But David Basnet, chairman of trade unions for a Labour victory, said he wanted the leadership issue settled sooner rather than later.
Oh, I think the sooner that can be done, the better.
Does that mean before the party conference?
Well, I think there'll have to be an election at the conference, and that is true. I think that's a matter for the party members themselves now to determine, and for Michael Foot to determine.
And would you expect to see Mr. Foot still leading the party in 12 months' time?
No, I wouldn't.
The Alliance were far short of their hope of coming second. They've got fewer than 24 MPs so far, although they received almost a quarter of the popular vote. Both Mr. Steele and Roy Jenkins criticised the unfairness of the electoral system and called for it to be changed. Mr. Jenkins was asked how that could be done.
We are going to exercise our power in the House of Commons, such it is, but we're going to exercise our power in the country because I believe that the British people fundamentally believe in a fair democratic system. And if the system produces a result which is a travesty of how they voted, that this will be seen as a scandal and the people will want to correct it.
Mr. Steele, you've slept on it. What is your verdict on the election and the results as we know them so far?
Well, I still this morning feel a real sense of outrage at the vast number of votes we piled up with so little to show for it in the way of seats. I mean, to secure over a quarter of the electorate's support is a remarkable achievement, and I think we can be very satisfied with that. But I am very angry that we haven't got more seats out of it, and I do believe that such as the basic sense of fair play and justice in the electorate as a whole, that sense of outrage isn't going to be confined to the people who voted for us. I think a lot of people who voted Conservative or Labour will agree now that the electoral system ought to be changed.
Two of the original gang of four who launched the SDP lost their seats. Mrs Shirley Williams was beaten by the Conservative at Crosby, and Mr William Rogers lost to Labour at Stockton North. Labour's casualty list was studded with well-known names. The most sensational upset was in Bristol East, where left-winger Tony Benn was defeated after 33 years in the House of Commons by an unknown Tory, Jonathan Said. Left-winger Tony Benn was defeated after 33 years in the House of Commons by an unknown Tory, Jonathan Said. Former Labour Party chairman Joan Lester went too, beaten by the Conservatives at Slough. Former Social Services Secretary David Ennals lost his seat in Bradford North. Pat Wall, founder of Militant Tendency, was also defeated. The only Tory who failed to hang on to his seat was Junior Trade Minister Ian Sproat. In West Belfast, it looks like a landslide victory for Gerry Adams of the Provisional Sinn Féin. The MP since 1966, Gerry Fitt, has conceded defeat. It's certain there'll be a seat now at Westminster for the political wing of the IRA. Among early reactions abroad, the Falkland Islanders say they're delighted for Mrs Thatcher personally. In West Germany, Chancellor Kohl's Conservative Christian Democrat said it was a victory for NATO and the common market. EEC officials agree, although they fear a tougher line on Britain's rebate demands. Russia quotes Mr Foot as saying it's a tragedy. Now, other news, and in Northern Ireland, a soldier was killed this morning when a bomb exploded only moments before ballot papers were due to be counted in West Belfast. The IRA says it planted the bomb inside a lamppost and set it off as a joint police-army patrol was passing. Lance Price reports.
The dead soldier, a private in the Light Infantry Regiment, was killed instantly. A second soldier was treated in hospital for shock. The explosion blew the dead man across the road and smashed windows in nearby houses. And it followed an earlier unsuccessful attempt to kill a policeman in South Belfast by putting a bomb under his car. The fatal explosion happened 20 minutes before counting began in Northern Ireland, as local children were on their way to school. One boy, whose route would have taken him past the exact spot, said one of the two policemen in the patrol shouted a warning just before the bomb went off.
The building societies are to hold a special meeting in a fortnight to discuss the mortgage rate. Latest figures show there's not nearly enough money coming in to meet mortgage demand. Our economics correspondent says that unless the high street banks cut base rates, it seems certain the mortgage rate will go up on July the 1st. The building society's chairman, Mr Herbert Walden, said they couldn't decide on interest rates today because of the uncertainty in financial markets that always surrounds a general election. There's been a new approach for the auctioneer Sotheby's from an American property developer, Mr Alfred Taubman. Sotheby's directors have warmly welcomed the proposed bid. It has yet to go before the Monopolies Commission, which is already looking at another bid from two other American millionaires. In the Belgian city of Liège, about 100 gendarmes from a special police unit ran into heavy resistance when they tried to clear the streets of rubbish that had been accumulated during a strike by dustmen and other municipal workers. The gendarmes' street-sweeping march was halted when they were attacked from the flank by a horde of angry fire brigade workers also on strike. But the gendarmes had come prepared. They brought their own water cannon with them, and a battle royal developed. When the firemen exchanged their hoses for missiles, the police called it a day and beat a hasty retreat. The firemen made on concession to their municipal strike. They swept away the missiles that they'd thrown. That's all from us for now. Over to the weather now with Michael Fish.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Well, I don't think very many votes for the weather, certainly not in northern parts of the country before the day's out, because there's an unsettled patch on the way. In fact, the breeze is picking up already in western parts of Scotland. You have a fair amount of cloud. And although most of the afternoon will be dry, apart from the odd spot of rain and drizzle that is, come the evening I think you'll find some heavier and more persistent rain showing up in Northern Ireland and many western parts of Scotland. But the east staying dry and reasonably bright probably until at least quite late in the day. In northern parts of England and the west of England and Wales, again, it's a pretty cloudy picture. Most places, I think, will be dry. There's just the outside chance of the odd spit of rain or drizzle in the wind, but fairly dry, and just every now and again, if you're well sheltered, reasonably bright as well. But the brightest of the weather, I think, will definitely be in the Midlands and southeastern parts of England. A fair amount of cloud, admittedly, but they're staying dry with some sunshine from time to time, and reasonable temperatures. 22 centigrade is 72 Fahrenheit. In some of these more northern and western parts, especially if you're near to the coast, though, you will notice it, if anything, decidedly chilly. During this evening and tonight, that rain will push on across Scotland, a fairly wet spell there, but later on in the night, drying up in western and northern parts, the rain then pushing into northwestern parts of England and Wales, but elsewhere, fine and dry. Well, that's all. Back to David Dimbleby in the election studio.
Back with the election, we have the results of Sir Ian Gilmore's vote at Chesham and Amersham.